All right, let's touch on this. Now, you know, cold and flu season's coming up, and I'm hearing about a big outbreak of whooping cough this year.
Right. Whooping cough is also called pertussis. And pertussis is actually caused by a bacteria, Bordetella pertussis. And it's spread person to person, basically through the droplets. You remember we talked about droplets and people sneezing and coughing and that type of stuff. So when you do that, there's these little tiny droplets that are put out into the air. And so if I cough and then you happen to be close, then you can become infected with that. Well, the ones that we worry about the most are the young children and the infants. There again, the infants don't have enough immunity. The young children probably have not gotten, complete vaccinations for it, so they're not protected. Adults can be a reservoir for pertussis or whooping cough, and so we're recommending that if you've not had a booster of pertussis in the last, say, 5 years, that you need to get a Tdap booster. Make sure that your children are vaccinated. The area that we're seeing a gap is usually between the ages, like a second grader. They usually will recommend getting their last Tdap booster at around age 10 or 11.
Right. And, well, you know, these diseases like flus and pneumonia, the whooping cough, it seems like times is changing so vastly. A long time ago, you could get a shot of penicillin and go home and you're fine. But now it's like these things are being resistant.
Well, one of the things that we found with the vaccination for pertussis is it's not lasting, the immunity is not lasting long enough. When pertussis vaccine first came out, there was quite a few side effects to it, so they attenuated it, or they made it a little less virulent. And when they did that, it doesn't keep the immune system boosted long enough, and so we're seeing that lap period, or that lax period in there, where the immunity goes from 91% to about 73%. And so that's where we're seeing a problem, is that age group is not really being protected long enough until they can get their other booster.
Now, the whooping cough, the signs of whooping cough, constantly coughing, can't stop coughing a lot of times.
It starts out just like a regular cold. Runny nose, sometimes you'll be a little feverish or whatever, a little congested, a little cough, a little dry hacking cough. Well, that goes on for 2 weeks or longer, and then it becomes worse and worse and worse. And so the thing that we worry about in the infants is that can go into pneumonia.
Oh, my goodness.
So you have this discharge, this really thick type of mucus discharge that can't be gotten up and out by these little kids, and so that's where it sets up pneumonia. So we worry more or less about the young children and the infants because they can actually die with it.
And one thing can spawn off to another, like strep throat. A
lot of kids that have whooping cough have started out with strep throat.
Oh, what is some of the signs of strep throat? It feels like your throat is just tearing apart.
Right. It's raw, or you feel like that, it's closing off because the lymph nodes are swollen and stuff, and it's hard to swallow. So the first symptom that you have, if you're a child or yourself, you need to seek medical attention. Go to your family physician.
There are steps that we can take because, this is supposed to be a bad flu season, and there are steps that we can take to prevent the flus by eating healthy, by getting plenty of vitamin C in our system, just by washing our hands like you said before. Tell us some more steps that we should probably do.
Well, you want to get plenty of rest.
So
if you stay up late at night and you're not used to that, there again, you want to keep your immune system, boosted. You want to eat properly, good, fresh vegetables and fruits and stuff like that. But there again, you want to make sure that you're not, you want to cough into your elbow, not your hands, and to not touch the T-zone, which is your eyes, your nose, your mouth.
Okay.
And to wash your hands.
All these different things, there's so many different things that we can touch on. You see, there's a difference between a cold, a flu, and pneumonia.
Right.
And people need to know this difference and not let it linger on thinking, I'll be all right, and then let it spawn off into something else.
Well, a lot of people think, of course, the cold virus, there's a blue million of those. And so it's hard to protect yourself against every virus that's out there. But viruses are not treated with antibiotics. And so a lot of people think, well, I went to the doctor and he said I had a virus, but he wouldn't give me any antibiotics for it. Well, antibiotics are not going to do anything for a virus. Antibiotics are particularly aimed at treating bacterial infections. Now, if you have a pneumonia that's caused by a bacteria because it started out with a virus, that's a different story. So there again, you need to go and find out if it's a viral infection or if it's a bacterial infection, because how we treat that, is going to determine by what the cause is.